Autobots, transform!
What up though? I am the 80s Transformer fan. Welcome to George Reviews. This is my first review of 2019 and it's a review from 2018 that I didn't get to. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. Spider-Man is my number 2 superhero all time. Only behind Superman and just barely in front of Batman. And he has the second best rogues gallery in my opinion to Batman. And this wave was heavy with Spider-Man elements, all except for Typhoid Mary. It's all Spider-Man related, so I snatched it up and they build a monster Venom, which is kind of redundant because they have like Venom in the line, though they different, but still it's Venom in the line. Anyway, I never got to these guys, and they're going to kick off my 2019 toy review, which is my 7th year reviewing toys. I'm going to start with Spider-Ham. And I'm going to start with Spider-Ham because out of all these figures, I like Spider-Ham the least. And I know a lot of people are happy that they made Spider-Ham, but I have no connection to Spider-Ham. Okay, so we're going to take a look at Spider-Ham's packaging. You can see Spider-Ham clearly in the window packaging. The front and back torso to Monster Venom. And I believe his name is Pork Grind. The symbiote version of Spider-Ham head in the packaging. And again, I don't have any attachment to this. I think it's kind of stupid and a waste of a figure. I don't want it. I know a lot of people geeking out over it. And everything's not made for me. And I recognize that. Some people that love it. And I'm happy for them. They got what they wanted. But, you know, this is the only figure that I don't care for in the line, which is pretty cool. 6 figures. And I get to enjoy 5 of the 6. I think I'm going to enjoy 5 or 6 anyway. So, Marvel Spider-Man, Spider-Ham, Hasbro on the front of the packaging, standard Marvel Legend. You have the Spider-Man logo at the top, or a particular Spider-Man logo. Spider-Ham on this side. Back of his packaging is a shot of the product, and it looks mostly like prototype because it looks way sweeter than the one I got in the package. The build figure, the pieces, the figures that contain the different pieces, and at the top is a bio for this, a brief bio for this guy. And all I know is he's pretty much from an alternate reality. And as much as I love Spider-Man, again, I don't care for this guy. I don't care for everybody. So I'm going to get him open. The best thing about Hasbro is they don't tie down their Marvel Legends. So I like to unbox. And it's easy for me to unbox these guys because you just pull them out. You just pop them out. A little bit of noise. And here is Spider-Ham. Spider-Ham. Head for Pork Grind coming out of the packaging. In the front and back torso. I haven't seen this done before where they actually shelled out the torso and you put it together 2 pieces. I'm surprised they didn't try to squeeze an extra figure in the wave and have this be a piece for the extra figure. But that's alright. It's more of a pearlescent purple than it is a black. With some black mixed in there, sort of, kind of. Anyway, this is a shell for Monster Venom. And I'm going to get to the figure himself. I'm gonna bring him closer to my camera, and he has limited articulation. And I've seen people talk about this guy and say, well, he's a small figure. No. They could have put articulation in here if they wanted to. They just chose not to, or maybe they just wanted him stuck in his pose because sometimes a pose is iconic for a figure, and they want that to be what you take away from it. But anyway, here's the little piglet himself. His paint job looks pretty cool on mine. Turning him around. You know, always check the paint first. And he's pretty good. He's pretty good. And take a look at, he has some line work in the costume molded into the plastic, making a spiderweb effect on his head and on his chest, on the belt and on the boots. And he has the molded in Spider-Man symbol. It's pretty cool. The molded in nostrils on the mask. Pretty cool. And I'm going to go over his articulations. Head 360s. He can look down. Can't look up. The little ears on the top are soft plastic, and that can become a problem over time because they're real thin at the base. You don't want to rip those off. He has a shoulder hinge. He can get his arm up this far. He can get it down this far. Get him down to his side. His shoulder 360s. He actually has a midsection crunch, which is killing me. You can see the pin in there. Can't believe they put that in there. And he 360s at the waist. coming to his wrist. His wrist rotate. He has the web shooting hand over here. It rotates. And at his ankles, calves, I don't know what this is. His feet rotate. And that's pretty much all you get out of Spider-Ham. I guess overall, he's not as terrible as maybe I thought he was because of the static legs with no bend in the knees. But it's not terrible. If you like this figure, it's pretty straight. You know, as far as the look and the quality, the feel of it, looks pretty good. It feels pretty good. All right, moving on. Next up is my favorite Spider-Man villain. He wasn't always my favorite Spider-Man villain. So, it is Cletus Cassidy. Legend Series, Marvel, Venom, Carnage, Hasbro. He has the head to Monster Venom. He has an alternate head. Well, I guess he's wearing the alternate head. Unmasked head. And he has all the little oozing symbiote things everywhere in the packaging side of the packaging. It's him on the side. The reverse of the packaging, there is his little bit of bio. If you don't know Carnage, you don't know Spider-Man, and you don't know symbiotes. Symbiotes, however they saying it now. And there is a product shot. Again, build a figure. Everybody in the wave. This side, the Venom logo on that side, bottom of the box. We're going to get it open. I'm trying to go fast, but I'm not trying to blow through it. I see some reviewers, they come out and they'll talk about the toy. This is he has this. Thank you for watching. And like, okay, he's just out to get hits. Anyway, this guy, he's the equivalent to the Joker in Batman's universe. He doesn't care about anything. He doesn't have an agenda. He's just out for carnage. And hence the name. So he has some extra tentacles in the back. He comes packed with extra interchangeable hands. Again, the head of it. So, okay, I'm going to start with the figure himself. And he's packaged unmasked, which is pretty sweet. And I think this might be how I display mine. And he looks so maniacal, so Joker-ish. It's sweet. He has the a separate molded piece of plastic for his hair, so you don't have to worry about scraping off the plastic. And then his skin tone is a separate plastic with good paint apps. He looks completely crazed. His teeth look good in there. You can see his gums. You can see his eyes, the pupil, a little shine on him. His eyebrows. The head sculpt is done very well. I am loving that. Here, and I'm going to run down his articulation. This guy can look up very well. He can look down very well. His head 360s coming to his shoulders. Standard ball joint. Ball hinge in there. At 360s on this side. He has an upper bicep swivel in there. Get his arm out this far. He has the elbow hinge. It's double hinge. It's a double hinge, but it's not coming up that far. Or maybe I'm not doing it right, but it's yeah, okay. Get it a little bit more. It's double hinge. You get his arm up that far. Excellent, excellent. It's all the articulation you expect from a Marvel Legend. He has a hinge at the wrist. He hinges hand in and out. Of course, they are removable. Same thing for both sides. He has the standard ab crunch. Like, this is one of the standard bucks they use for Marvel Legends. You can get it down that far. So he can do pretty much everything. His waist 360s. Coming to his legs. They don't come out to the side very far. A little ball joint in there. And the mold is keeping it from coming out that far at the waist. His front to back looks like this. Stride. He has an upper thigh cut that allows it to 360 at the upper thigh. He coming down to his knee. It is double hinged, and you get it that far. And then he has the calf swivel, which is sweet. And then down, he has the foot front and back and the rocker. I mean, he's not missing articulation anywhere. You can't ask for more from a figure to me except hands. This is his alternate left hand, I guess, if you don't want it so crazy. But I don't, you know what, they really didn't have to do that because that's cool the way it is. Just give it a good pull. And then give the replacement hand, I'm assuming, a good push. Yep, and it goes right in there. So they're kind of close. I know this is a lot bigger, but it's pretty much doing the same thing. They could have maybe had him make it another fist. So that's that, and you can take this out and put in the other smaller hand. And have him looking like, hey, Spider-Man. Pop his head off, and that came off very easily. That's cool with this giant ball joint right here. Giant ball. And pop on the Carnage head. Carnage. Maximum Carnage. Does his mouth move? It looks like he has a hinge to move his mouth. Looks like it does. You see that? Like right here. So maybe I might have to work at it, but it looks like it's supposed to move, maybe. Or they were gonna have it move, maybe. Let's pop it off and check it out. Nope, but it looks like it's cut right in there to make it move. Like they had a thought and then left it alone. Maybe on another figure it moved. Oops. I don't know. Much easier to take this thing off than put it back on. There we go. And there is Carnage in all his madness, wickedness. I am very, very happy with this figure. If he was the only good figure in the line, I would probably be enjoying it. It's pretty cool, pretty cool. So we're gonna go from Carnage to Typhoid Mary, one of the figures that I know the least amount about in this line. She's some type of magical assassin or power wielding witch assassin. All right, she's packaged with the figure itself, and the figure looks great. That's why I don't mind when I get figures that I'm not attached to in a way when I'm trying to build a figure. And she looks great. The sword looks great. You have a paint app down here. The blade is the silver plastic, and then you have the flame around it, which looks good. They've done that a couple times this year alone with the sword and the flame. She looks good. She comes with the foot. Marvel Typhoid Mary, Hasbro. There's her on the side of the packaging. Product shot, back of the packaging, same thing. We've been over that, and we'll take a look at the bio. Or a little bit of bio. They never give you much bio to these guys. Another reason I had to go ahead and get these guys out of the way because I'm running out of room with all these packages every damn where. Okay, sword accessory, Venom's left leg, I believe. And here she is, and the figure is done great. I remember when Hasbro first took over the Marvel Legends of Toy Biz, they figures were crap. They've come a long way. Love the molded in hair, and again, it's a separate piece than her face. So you got two different color plastics. I love it when they do that. The jacket is like a separate plastic on her torso. The little bodice here thing is painted over, but it's painted pretty well. Got a little bit of a paint splotch right there, but it's really tiny. The belt, the buckle looks good. The rip stockings, tights, whatever they are, looks pretty good. On to the figure itself. She has the little jacket on with the choke. Oh, this is separate. I think the choker might be separate in there. She has the little choker on with the little silver buckle. Awesome detailing. Also detailing on the pads on her jacket. Everything just looks incredible on this figure. So I'm assuming with her hair, we're not going to get too much out of it. She can look down, but it's not going up because the hair is in the back of the jacket. That's typical of female figures in any lineup. She can get her arms this far, up this far, despite the pads. They'll rotate. The pads are kind of soft, but not very soft. She can get her hand up over her head like this. Play 360 out to the side like that. She has the elbow cut in there. She can only get her elbow up this far because of the sculpt of the jacket. Coming to her wrist, it's on a hand. She's making a fist. She could have used the alternate hand over here, I think. And the fist is actually a separate plastic, which I love. It's not one continued plastic and just painted over. Coming to her open hand, it's the same exact same hinge over there, in and out, and the 360s, and that's all you're getting out of that. And she has a upper torso cut, but not really getting much out of it because they try to keep her body design intact without losing that look. And does it 360? It's a hard 360. It's very very stiff. 360s there. Coming down to her legs, they can't really get their legs out too far because of the design. Her front to back, she can get it out pretty far to the front, not that far to the back. Thigh cut, 360s there. Double hinge knees, she can get hers all the way up, coming down to the top of her boot. I don't think there's nothing there unless it's very stiff. And her foot front to back and rocks side to side. I'm assuming the rockers in there, get it side to side. And that is Typhoid Mary. Guess this wave is totally villain heavy. And we can get her sword out here. She's able to set things on fire with her mind, if I recall. Sword in her hand. Has the flame job look on it. And with all her articulation. Yeah, she could have used a open palm hand over here to accentuate her in her poses. She stands pretty good. Most of Marvel letters, they stand pretty good. If I'm not really harping on that, they all stand pretty good. They'll hold their poses and everything. And the makeup on her face is pretty good. The lipstick's done good. The eyes, I see 3 different tones in her eyes, which is I hope it's coming across on camera, which is pretty sweet. I keep hitting the camera. The half side makeup face is pretty sweet. She has makeup on top of the white makeup. And she's a very good looking figure. Actually, a very pretty female head sculpt on her. And her accessories, well, her one accessory anyway was the leg, 2 accessories, the leg and the sword. I'm gonna go back to the sword. The flame slides right off. Like, this has been done. They've used this flame like 3 or 4 times in 2018 alone. So there's the sword, there's the leg. And next up, I am going to do Scream, one of the children of another child of Venom, or whatever they call it, replication, whatever they do. Oh wait, take a look at the packaging, going too fast. Scream in the packaging, she comes with the right arm, looks like the right arm. Venom, Marvel Scream, Venom logo up there, Hasbro, Scream on the side of the packaging, Screaming, Scream on the back of the box, Scream's bio. Pause to read that, and same thing down there, yada yada yada. Side of the box, and boom. Let's get Scream open. Get her out of the box, and she is one of 5 symbiotes created at the exact same time. I'm saying in a lab by the government. They were trying to get their own army of Screams. I mean, own army of symbiotes. Screams. And at one point, she actually killed all the other symbiotes, but you know, comic books, they brought them back to life. Set her down, arm out, and we're closer to building Monster Venom. And all these pieces feel so solid. It's pretty cool. Here is Scream, and I just noticed I had a little bit of trouble standing her up. I don't know if it's because of her hair and the width of her legs. I don't know. Yeah, there she is, but she's not kind of standing up straight, but it took a little second to get there. I think she shares the exact same hands as Carnage. And yes, she does. Exact same hands as Carnage. She's not packaged with any extra hands, unlike Carnage. I don't know if it's because they gave her all this damn hair and it's like an accessory. It's hard. The edges are soft, but like this is so hard. Man, they should have found a way to hollow that out and make it a separate piece. But it's all one giant piece. Oh, no, it's not. The face is actually black and the hair is stuck to it, which is sweet. Well, they should have found a way to hollow it out now. Her paint apps looks good. She kind of looks like a spotted cheetah almost. Turn her around. Her gold pearlastic or yellow or mustard, whatever. Let's say yellow pearlescent plastic looks very good with the spots painted on top of that. Here's her face sculpt. Looking like a female Venom. With the red painted over. The red is a paint. Then it's like separated here. It's like cut into it. That's pretty cool. Give it a more defined look. And the hair is just crazy over there. So anyway, her articulation. I don't think I'm going to get much out of the head. If you want to force it around, you probably could force it around. I'm not going to do that. And I'm pretty sure she's not going to look around too much. She can look straight forward. That's about it. She can look down and hold it despite the weight of her hair. I think that'll take over eventually, and a little bit side to side. 360 in at the shoulder. She can get her arm up this far, up this far. Pretty cool female body under there, except the little bow legs down here. I'll get to that. Upper bicep swivel that Typhoid Mary didn't have. Elbow hinge. It's not double, but it comes up far enough. 360 in at the wrist with a wrist hinge in there so she can coming down to her waist. There is no wait. Oh, she has a little upper torso cut underneath her breast, allowing her to 360, and she can go backwards, but not really forward with it. But plenty of backwards there, so she can look up, no doubt. And back to her legs and thighs, she can get this. It's pretty much the same thing. It's going to be the same thing for the rest of the guys. 360 upper thigh, double hinge knee, coming to her foot, front, stiff, front, back, front, side to side, hitting switches on. And that is Scream. Next up is Poison. Poison. This is Peter Parker with the symbiote, with the Venom symbiote turned good or something like that. Not really familiar with this guy. Came out after my love for comic books was over, and I kind of grew away from it. But anyway, here he is. Left arm, Venom, Marvel's Poison. He's the only guy that has like the Marvel tag. Everybody else just says Scream or Venom or Carnage. He says Marvel's Poison instead of just Poison. Side of the packaging, back of the packaging, standard. And here he is. So this guy has a little bit of tape on him, I guess to keep the tentacles from going everywhere. It's pretty cool. And the giant arm, no true accessories, just a builder figure piece. And here he is, and this particular version believed he was some type of miracle coming back from the dead or whatever. It's actually Peter Parker was cocooned under the bridge, awaiting some type of metamorphosis, and fought with the symbiote to try to take him over. Eventually took him over. A whole lot of stuff ensued after that. But he's this pearlescent white. Looks pretty good. Some of it looks actually discolored. Like this thigh looks a little discolored, and this forearm, you can see it looks a little bit discolored compared to the other one. Right in there. I don't know. So anyway, take a look at the hands. He has different hands, has different fists than the other symbiotes in this wave. And he has this thing, this softer plastic just everywhere. It's pretty sweet that it's like three-dimensional coming at you. Spider symbol on the chest. And other than a little bit of silver in the line work, there's not much paint to talk about. A couple little silver on the spikes here. And it's pretty much it. So I'm going to go straight for articulation. You can look up that far, look down that far, a lot. Head 360s on that ball joint. Get his arms up this far. His arm will rotate completely 360. Standard bicep swivel. Double hinged elbow in there. Has a rocker at the wrist. Hand 360s. He has the ab crunch. Crunches very well. Comes back about that far. 360 at the waist. He has the waist swivel that the females do not. Legs will not go out to the side much at all. Front to back, he's getting this hurdling position. Upper thigh swivel. Oh, that was real tight. All these figures are nice and tight. Kudos to the quality of Hasbro on these figures. Double hinged knee, but it's not coming back that far. Maybe I'm not pushing it that hard because it's new. I don't know, but that's what I'm getting out of it. Calf swivel. There it is. Rocker, front, back, and everything. And we'll see if he spider poses at all for us. Spider-Man style. We can get him to look up and spider pose. Because the articulation is only worth the poses you can get him in. I don't care if he has 32 points, and if you can't really pose him, it's crap. Well, that is Peter Parker as Poison in a nutshell. Like I said, not a whole lot to this guy. Pretty cool looking figure. Pretty interesting backstory on this guy. Have to learn more about him someday, but not today. On to the man himself that started this whole symbiote thing, Venom. Let's take a look at this box. I keep trying to get into these packages. Here is Eddie Brock as Venom in the packaging, and from what I understand, this is a previously released Eddie Brock figure. They just gave him the Eddie head this time and added some ooze to the shoulders. I'm not sure if the paint is slightly different, but they released this a few waves ago. I just recently got back into the Legends. It was out for years, so I'm catching up here. I don't know if you're catching up with me, but there's his bio, back of the package, the product shot, everything we talked about. Get him out of here. And I don't understand. If you give me a Venom, I expect for his tongue to be out of his mouth. I don't care if they've done it 1,000 times. They could have made it a detachable tongue or a separate head. And here is the foot, the last part of Venom. Here is Eddie Brock. And he actually feels different than the other guys. And I suspect that's because this body was done years ago in another wave. And you can hear the clicking when I mess with this. So you can tell he's from a separate line of figures than these guys. It just feels different immediately. Here is his face, and his head is like too big for his body. I mean, he looks like the standard Eddie Brock from the comics and the cartoon, but that head is ginormous. It's actually like pretty much the same size as the mask, which maybe a little bit bigger. It should be a little bit smaller because this goes over the head. Anyway, he has the giant spider logo. I have some paint splotches right here on the final figure. Oh no. See if I can scrape a little bit off. Alright, I'll come back to that. A little bit of paint splotch over there. Because other than the Spider-Man logo and the web shooters on the hand. Oh, well, they're not web shooters. But anyway. That is the only paint app he has. It's all black plastic. He has the little collar of the symbiote ooze pegged into his back. He has 2 peg holes in his back. So, anyway. His face. His eyes look pretty good. They look like they're gray. I don't know. Looking through the monitor, they actually look blue. So I guess they're blue in there. To my naked eye, they look gray. And the head looks great. It's just a little bit too big. Anyway, the head 360s. He can look down very far. He can look up. Spider-Man. Parker. What did you call him? Parker. And this is the symbiote that started it all. That snuck in from Secret Wars. His arm 360s. Up, down, side to side. Bicep swivel. Double hinged elbow. Wrist 360s. And it's on the hinge joint in there. Coming to his waist. We already did the clicking. Ab crunch. It's pretty cool. Clicking waist. 360 in there. Not much out of the legs to the back. Comes up to the front pretty far. Double hinge knee. 360. Oh man, that's rotates anyway at the upper thigh. He has the calf cut here, allowing him to 360. The front, back, side, side. He has big feet, I guess, to hold him up. And side to side on that rocker joint. And I don't think I'll be displaying with the Eddie Brock head. It's cool to have it, but I think he's gonna rock with this one. Here is his Venom head. And I think the ooze around his neck is just like when he pulls back the mask and it's sort of just hanging out a little bit, waiting to reform. So I think he probably looks better with this head on without the ooze. I like how he's nice and beefy. You can tell he's like the bodybuilder Eddie Brock type thing. Spider-Man. Which I don't have a good open Spider-Man. I need to find me a good Spider-Man to go with these guys. It looks really cool. It's a shame they didn't give this guy some type of webs to tab in here and extend out. So really love this wave. Love Spider-Man, guys. This wave is pretty cool. Learned a few things just purchasing this wave. You can also take the bonus pack in with Spider-Ham, the pork grind head, and put it on this figure to make pork grind, the alternate universes, Spider-Ham's Venom symbiote thing. And it doesn't match all that. Like the chest is a little bit flatter than the arms, but I guess it matches the arms. Goes right on there, and if that's a thing, it actually looks pretty cool with the boar's teeth coming out or whatever. Though, actually looks pretty cool. It's really not for me, but it's not bad at all. I can see the appeal of this thing. Alright, for the grand finale, now I'm going to build Monster Venom. And I need to know something about Monster Venom. What is Monster Venom? Is this like the Super Saiyan version of Venom? I don't know. I just assumed that he can just get like this. I don't know, and I don't know how to assemble this thing. I think I'm going to plug the arms in first. Take the torso, plug the left arm in. Plug the right arm in. I've never assembled one where you actually have to put on the back and you can see the inner arm workings things on the toy. I've never seen that on one of these Build-A-Figure things. I think maybe a long time ago, MODOK, you had to put the torso together. I think. Clamp the back on. And again, he's not black. He's a pearlescent purple color. In some angles, he looks black, but he's not. It's the left leg. Oh man, I heard the legs were a little hard to get on. There's one. Oh man, and the new toy smell coming off of this thing. There's two. His legs seem a little stubby compared to the torso. I guess he's supposed to be like this hulking mass. And here is the head. Seems like the head can be bigger. There's the tongue out. I guess they figured why do it twice. Had the tongue out. Yeah. And the ball joint seems, the ball peg looks like the standard size, so maybe you can put anybody head on here. Let me try that first. Yep. You can have anybody you want inside of the Monster Venom. Which is very cool that they did that. Alright, to the Monster Venom head. Da-da-da-da-da. And here he is. Looking so sweet. This thing's huge. Trying to line the legs up properly and how they supposed to be. That vein right here lines up right there. Turn the feet straight. And that's straight. And here he is. Oh, he could have used some alternate hands. I mean, not that he's not cool like this, but I'd love some alternate hands with this guy. So let me slide the camera back a little bit. Taking a look at him. He has the giant sort of spray painted on spider symbol on his chest. Why does he keep the spider symbol even though he's not bonded to Spider-Man anymore? Is it just a mock Spider-Man? He has 1, 2, 3, 4 tentacles jutting out of this guy. And other than the spider symbol, most of the paint is on the face. It's done well. The teeth look great. Eyes look great. Figure looks great. Worth the Build-A-Figure. And I'm going to keep all these figures except for Spider-Ham. So his head 360s. Oh, I thought his jaw was hinged for a minute. He can look up. Spider-Man. He can look down. Well, actually, that's kind of straight ahead, but the way his neck is, maybe that's down for him. His arms 360. He has the upper bicep swivel. They can hinge in and out. Oh man, he's super stiff. His elbow bends that far. He has the hinge. It's pretty much the same, just on a giant scale. And he has like not just pointed fingers, but fingernails. You can see him sculpted in, fingernails at the end of his hand, his wrist 360, his ab crunches and clicks. Man, Spider-Man is in for a long day. He has a waist cut, allowing him to swivel 360, coming to his legs. His front back looks like thus. Thigh swivel, thigh 360s. The knee joint is double hinged. I can get it more. There it is. It's double hinged. He can boot the out of Spider-Man. The calf cut or shin cut right there. 360. Front foot goes front, back, and he has rocker in there, as they all do. I mean, man, excellent builder figure. If you don't have them, get this guy. Oh man. And I wanted the builder figure, and I wanted 99%, or is that like 90% of the wave? Because it's 6 guys. 90% of the wave. Money well spent on this particular wave. The only wave I didn't see on clearance during the holidays, too. Like the rest of my waves, I had to take the receipt back and get it adjusted because they put all these guys on clearance. So there is Monster Venom. He is pretty awesome. Freaking awesome. Man, I need a Spider-Man for him to kill. This has been George, the 80s Transformer fan, reviewing Marvel Legends. This is the reviews where every toy has a story.
Autobots, transform.
All right, Marvel Legends fans, it is bonus review time, and you made it to my bonus review, a little thing I put in my videos just for the hardcore review fans, and it is Spider-Man wearing the Secret Wars spider suit when he didn't know it was Venom attached to his body. And it is from the Build a Sandman wave from a few years ago. I actually found this guy laying on the floor at Walgreens and picked him up. Like, yes, I can add him to my my Venom wave, and I'm adding to this review right now. He comes with 2 pieces to the Sandman Builder figure. A lot of these guys are still hanging around. Like, I still see actually I grabbed the Goblin when he first came out, the Green Goblin. Love the Green Goblin. But I actually see Ms. Marvel hanging around, the Jackal hanging around, the Shocker hanging around, and every now and then I see the British Spider-Man. Only one that's like impossible to find is the Spider-Verse Spider-Man dude right here, and like he goes for big money aftermarket. I'm thinking about actually trying to complete these guys, maybe. But anyway, here he is for this review as part of my bonus review, where it all started when what was it, Battle Planet with a symbiote first got onto Spider-Man. A lot of people say it got onto Deadpool first when Deadpool costume was damaged or whatever. We're going to get this guy out. And the best thing about him is because I am a Transformers fan, this guy actually did battle with Megatron in the 1984 comic book. Oh man, he is a skinny dude. And I wanted to pick this guy up a couple years ago when I first saw him, but I told myself I was not getting back into Marvel Legends. And now that I'm back in it, I was fortunate enough to come across him. Ooh, look at those legs. That looks terrible. Look how they in there. Oh, man. He has a small waist. But I guess it's Spider-Man, so it's cool. He's packed with alternate hands, open hands. And 2 chunks of sand that I cannot get out of the packaging. A giant spiked mace. And a giant hammer. I knew I shouldn't have opened this thing because now I want to build Sandman now. I mean, and this thing feels freaking solid. No, I can squish it a little bit. So no, it's not solid. But man, now I want to build Sandman. Had an opportunity. I once seen these guys all on clearance at Myers one time, and I was like, I'm not getting back into these guys. But now I'm back into it. Wish I had got them. They're like buy one get one free or something. So here is Spider-Man Secret Wars Battle Planet, whatever you want to call it. He has some different articulation in the figures I've just reviewed. He has the shoulder that comes in and out. Get his arm across his body. His paint is a little hit and miss. There's a little dot right there. Oh, I knew I saw something else. And a little bit coming off of the back in certain places, here, here, and here. Other than that, there's no paint to him really other than the white. So I'm going to go over his articulation. He can look up this far. He can look down this far. Major, man. 360 and at the head. Shows you that the shoulder hinge here coming in and out. Or he can almost, or can he fold his arms? Nope, not exactly. Maybe if I can get this hinge to... Oh man, he's new and he's stiff. I know it comes up more than that, but that's all I can get. Anyway, 360s at the shoulder, has the upper bicep swivel and the double elbow bend there. Coming down to his wrist at 360s. He's hinged at the wrist. He can shoot his top web shooters that was unique for when he wore the Venom suit. I guess Venom was doing the web shooting. And he didn't use the web cartridges anymore. So he has the ab crunch here, that far back. Cut at the waist. His legs from front to back can go as far as this. Outside to side as far as this. Upper thigh swivel. Man, this guy is stiff. He's been in that box for a few years now. Coming to his knee. He's double hinged at the knee, can get it back that far. There's no shin cut there at all, which is weird. Front and back on the foot, side to side. But man, you can really get this guy spideyed out on some poses. Oh, my friend Josh has this figure. If you ever seen social media where Spider-Man is kicking everybody in the nuts, that's my boy Josh throwing down. He posts those on social media. Every time he gets a new figure, he kicks the old figure in the nuts and says, "Welcome to the collection." That's my boy. That's Josh. But yeah, you can get him swinging through the city. Acrobatics with this body. I guess that's why they gave him the slender body like that. Yeah, I'm loving it. So I had to pull this guy out because I had the other guys out from where it all started. The evolution of Spider-Man. This is how they all look together. And Spider-Man comes with, Black Suit Spider-Man comes with a set of open palm hands. It just push right in there. A nice little peg system. Oh, that one went in extra easy. So he can get the whole, whoa, spider sense is tingling type thing out of him. This has been George 80 Transformer Fan. Thank you for sticking around for the whole review, including the bonus review. I really appreciate that. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you soon.